What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Eric Rivera, Fitness Phenom, coming to you guys with another video. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all of my subscribers. Right, I'm at 2,500 subscribers now. So for everyone who has supported, who's been following my journey, I know some of you guys have been following and doing my workouts, and it's been helping you guys a lot with that. I appreciate that, and I'm very grateful and thankful that you guys follow along and that I'm able to help you guys out with that. So to all my supporters, all my subscribers on YouTube, all 2,500 plus of you guys, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll keep the content coming, keep that fire coming, as I always say, and I'll keep posting, and we'll grow this channel together with the help of you guys, because you guys is what makes you guys give me that motivation. Just like you guys tell me I give you motivation, you guys give me that motivation as well. Right? So we'll give you guys something a little different. I noticed on my YouTube, obviously I'm posting that fire content, crazy workouts, beginner workouts, intermediate workouts, advanced workouts, some of my own workouts, what I do, how I do them, all that good stuff. So I got that, but for some of you guys, especially my newer subscribers, a lot of you guys don't really know who I am. Who is Eric Rivera, the athlete, fitness phenom, how I got to where I got, how did I win, all of that behind me, all the trophies, my athletic background, and all that good stuff. So let me explain that a little bit. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eric, also known as Phenom or Fitness Phenom in the calisthenics community. Follow me on the gram, Fitness Phenom 21. Yeah, so basically born in Brooklyn, raised in the Bronx my whole life. And growing up in the Bronx, just growing up in general, I was always the smallest, not necessarily the fastest, not the strongest, kid in school, kid in the park, kid in the backyard, right? I was always the last one chosen for sports, being so small. I was so small that in school, they thought about holding me back a grade just because of my size, which is absolutely insane in retrospect now that I think about it, right? When I look back to that, that's crazy to think that they will actually hold you back, not because of your ability or inability in school, but because of your size, right? So I was always the smallest, again, never the strongest, never the fastest. So I did something about that, right? So growing up, went to Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx. Shout out to Hayes, class of 06, up Hayes, and all its loyal men. Again, I was the shortest person that freshman year, right? Front of the line, always shortest and smallest. And I wanted to do something about it. So I went to Hayes. I went to high school 2002. And 2002, 2003 is when I started my journey in fitness, when I started lifting and working out. Had no knowledge about working out, just did like bicep curls every single day, bench press, all that good stuff, right? Long story short, I ended up ordering some fitness magazines, Muscle and Fitness, and that's how I really started educating myself and learning. And I worked at the vitamin shop, and I connected with people there, and I learned, met some pro bodybuilders, I met some pro powerlifters, right? And they put me on, and they taught me some things, and I learned through that as well. Then a local gym opened up in my hood in the Bronx, 6 Elements of Fitness. Shout out to Donovan. They opened up, which is unfortunately now closed, but I learned from watching people work out then and all that good stuff. So, smallest, weakest, slowest, but I did something about it, right? I didn't just, sit down and weep and ask why I'm not this person or that person. I am by no means genetically gifted at all, in my opinion. But I will say what I do have that most people do not is in here. That mental tenacity, that mental fortitude, if you will, that mental toughness, right? And that didn't come naturally to me. That didn't come even as I was working out. That really happened when I started boxing and fighting. And I give a lot of credit to my boxing coaches, Mike and Susan Reno. Shout out to Mike, shout out to Susan. They helped develop my mindset tremendously in the sport of boxing, which carried over to life in general. So business, work, life, working out. I give them a great amount of credit because they helped build me up. They helped build that mental toughness through boxing, and I just carry that over through everything I do in my career, in fitness, in competitions, all that good stuff. So in regards to my athletic background, I started off just working out. Curls for the girls, if you will. Benching at Cardinal Hayes High School. We had a nice gym, so after school I'd go to the gym. It was small, but it had the essentials, had your barbells and dumbbells, had a few machines. So that's what I did after school, just about every single day. On my own, got it in. Sometimes I'll go with a classmate here and there. But just learned as I went, and then I educated myself as I explained, all that good stuff. Then I wanted to do something with my fitness. Right. Initially, I thought I wanted to do bodybuilding, but as I educated myself and realized the steps needed to be taken to perform at the highest level, because that's one thing about me. Whenever I do something, I wanted to do it or plan to do it at the highest level I can possibly do it or take it. So when I thought about bodybuilding, obviously didn't make that choice. And then my boy, shout out to Nick, put me on to Renzo Gracie, to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at Renzo Gracie Academy in New York City, which arguably is the headquarters, right, of Jiu-Jitsu and mixed martial arts in the world, right? Again, here in New York City. So I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Next day, I signed up at the WAT, which is a Muay Thai gym, Muay Thai and boxing, where I met and connected with Mike and Susan Reno. So here I am, just a kid from the Bronx, working a minimum wage job at the vitamin shop, going to college at Baruch, wanting to get stronger, wanting to get fitter, wanting to get faster, wanting to look better. And I started MMA training, boxing and jiu-jitsu specifically, and Muay Thai as well. And I didn't have any aspirations to fight. I just wanted to learn the art of fighting. I wanted to learn the skills. And I wanted to get fitter. And that helped, obviously, with all three significantly. And then, lo and behold, I started fighting. Started boxing. Did the Golden Gloves 2 times. Made it to the semis, I think 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was 2012. Had some Muay Thai school fights, exhibition fights. Did several Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments and competitions. And I wasn't good at any of it initially. I lost every jiu-jitsu competition I ever did in the first round when I started. I lost my first boxing fight. I wasn't particularly good at anything per se, but I outworked absolutely everybody. I made sure to put in extra amount of work, right? Which in retrospect was not the smartest, but I had that mindset, right? That mental tenacity to improve, to become better, to be the best athlete I can possibly be. And I just put in that work day in and day out. No excuses. Just worked very hard, and I started winning fights. I started getting better, started getting fitter. Saw my body changing, saw my body composition changing, right? And this didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen within a month or two. It took years of training, years of putting in that work. This is the journey. You guys have to understand that this is a lifelong journey. This isn't just, oh, I want to get fit for the summer, or I want to get fit for something in 6 weeks. Oh, how can I lose 10 pounds in 20 days? Like, this is not what it's about. It's a lifelong journey, a lifelong commitment to your health, to your fitness. That being said, obviously, I took it to the next level, and I fell in love with competing. And I wanted to compete at the highest level. I wanted to go pro in boxing. I wanted to make it to the UFC and mixed martial arts, right? And I was projected, I was doing well, right? I was improving, I was getting better. I was training the best 2 schools I can possibly train at Renzo Gracie for Jiu-Jitsu, at the Watt for Muay Thai, and with Mike Reno at the Watt for boxing. And then I tore my MCL, right, which was the first significant injury of my career, definitely not the last. Had numerous injuries, and we'll get to that at another video, but I tore my MCL, was not training, was at home, was not training boxing or jiu-jitsu. I was still going to the park and doing my calisthenics, right? Between everything I was doing in regards to fitness, calisthenics was a constant, right? Especially during my boxing jiu-jitsu days, because I no longer lifted. My boxing coach didn't want me to lift. The gym I was going to, 6 Elements of Fitness, had closed down. And I was doing all this body weight stuff, body weight exercises, calisthenics, all that good stuff. Mind you, YouTube, the internet wasn't what it is today. YouTube was established, founded in 2005, if I'm not mistaken. Started high school in 2006, so I didn't have the resources that everyone has now. I taught myself, learned from others, learned from watching others, and just try to educate myself in that aspect. But yeah, so calisthenics was a constant in my life, in my athletic career, if you will. And I continued with calisthenics, and I was fighting, and tore my MCL, like I said. I was in crutches, going to St. Mary's Park in the Bronx, still getting my pull-ups, my dips, my push-ups, my muscle-ups, all that good stuff with that torn MCL, right? So I'm just built differently. I just have a different mindset, no excuses, knowing where I come from or where I came from, and knowing where, the type of athlete that I was or wasn't really. I was always putting in that work, and I was addicted to being the best. I wanted to be the best at everything I did. And at that time, I wanted to be the best fighter, right? George St. Pierre was a big influence. If you guys know GSP. GSP was a big influence in my life as well, especially at the time. And he was the greatest UFC fighter, greatest mixed martial artist, arguably the greatest of all time now. He's the GOAT. Multiple time UFC champion, all that good stuff. And he trained at Renzo Gracie Academy, so I had to witness that. I actually witnessed that in person. His training methodologies, his training regimen, the work he put in. And I mimicked that. I took notes, and I would go to Renzo's, and I would go to the Watt, which he also trained at. And I learned a lot just from watching him, and watching videos of him, and him being the person that he is, the athlete that he is, the fighter that he is. I adopted and took a lot from his mentality. So yeah, I tore my MCL, still training. I saw CrossFit on ESPN, and I'm like, bruh, I could do this. They getting paid for this? I could do this. sport of strength and conditioning. Let's do this, right? As I healed or was healing from that knee injury, I found the CrossFit gym, and I wanted to get fitter for fighting, for mixed martial arts, for boxing, for jiu-jitsu, because I had some holes in my game in regards to my fitness at the time. So CrossFit definitely helped with that significantly. Try to get back into fighting. Long story short, I tore my MCL 2 more times, and I also tore my meniscus. So that's been on hold, because I still have aspirations of fighting and boxing and getting in the cage. I don't think that chapter is done just yet. I'll keep you guys posted. Yeah, so what was I saying? So started doing CrossFit. Started in 2012. CrossFit then led me to, and I sucked, I wasn't good by any, I was good at all the bodyweight stuff, calisthenics, the gymnastics, movements, handstand push-ups, the pull-ups, the muscle-ups. I was able to get a muscle-up my first day, ring muscle-up, just because I've done so many pull-ups and dips and push-ups and had that strong foundation, which is why the basics will always be, the basics. That's your foundation, right? That's the most important part of your training in regards to getting fitter, in my opinion, with calisthenics. So I competed in CrossFit. I've won a couple of competitions, did decent in the open, if you're familiar with that, right? Again, I wasn't the best, but I worked at it until I was the best one at my gym, right? Then that led me into powerlifting. I had a solid base, a solid foundation. Competed in powerlifting. First meet, I qualified for USAPL Raw Nationals, right? So I made it to the national stage. Competed there as well. That led me to Olympic weightlifting. Powerlifting is squat, bench, deadlift. Olympic weightlifting is snatch, clean, and jerk. Competed in that, medaled and podiumed, and just continued training. Calisthenics, again, has been a constant throughout all of this. And then eventually started competing in calisthenics naturally. And because I've had so many hours, so many reps under my belt, mind you, I started calisthenics in 2008. Got serious with it in 2009, 2010, and really didn't stop since. And you guys can see the results of my calisthenics journey. You guys seen the competitions on my YouTube. Competed in Pull-Up Park Jam 2017. That was the first calisthenics competition. Over 80 athletes competed. Biggest calisthenics competition in the U.S. Came in first place. Did a bunch of competitions after that. Won and podium throughout the years. Competed in Pull-Up Park Jam again, 2018. Back-to-back champ, won that one. Competed in Pull-Up Park Jam Chicago, 2018. Competed in Pull-Up Park Jam Chicago, 2019. I won that. And yeah, it just comes with the reps under my belt. Comes with the years of experience under my belt, learning how to attack workouts, but more importantly, just having that mindset that I developed through boxing with Mike and Susan Reno. Having that mindset and just knowing that, I was not the athlete that I am today, Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I was not the fastest. I was not the strongest. I was the smallest, the weakest, the slowest. But I did something about it. And now I am recognized as the Fitness Phenom, right? And that comes through the hard work, the hours that I put in, right? On and off the court, if you will, like during training and away from training. So What a lot of people don't understand is, especially if you want to compete at a high level, if you want to win, there's a certain level of commitment that you need. You need to obviously be all in, right? And a lot of people, not a lot, some people will put in the physical work. Some people will half-ass it. Some people are genetically gifted and don't have to put in as much work. I'm definitely not one of those people. But I put in the work as if I'm an underdog, as if, I'm not at the level that I'm at, as if I want to reach the pinnacle of the sport. And you have to put in the physical training and you have to go above and beyond. But what you also have to do is train the mental, right? Mental training, which a lot of people don't do. And that can be visualization. That can be watching videos, studying your videos, studying yourself as an athlete, seeing any holes you may have, looking at your workouts, studying other athletes, studying those who came before you, looking at those who are legends in the game or legends in the sport, seeing what they're doing, what they're able to do, how they got to where they got, and just learning and always training, whether that be physical or mental. And not a lot of people put in that work. This is a 24/7, when you want to be the best at your given sport, especially if you compete, obviously, this is something you have to do 24/7, in my opinion. Putting in the work physically, working the mental, being on point with your diet and your nutrition per se. Everything works with one another in unison. And if one thing is off, it's going to show in competition. It's going to show in your training. Right? Your recovery has to be on point. Your sleeping has to be on point. Your eating has to be on point. And obviously your physical and mental training also have to be on point. And a lot of people do not understand that and are not aware of how to go about that, or just don't want to put in the work, right? Everybody sees the glory, everybody sees the trophies, but a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes, the work that's put in, the struggle, right? The failures. All that has led to all of this, right? I failed growing up. I was not the best. I was not the strongest. I was not the fastest. But I did something about it. I never quit. So don't ever quit. You got to put in that work and take it a day at a time and be patient. Enjoy the journey, trust the process, and enjoy the process. And you'll reap the rewards at the end when you're sitting down on your table looking at your trophies. But it doesn't end there. This is again, like I said, this is a journey. So I'll continue to work. I'll continue to put in the work as if I'm nobody in the sport or in the game. So I hope I can encourage you guys. I hope I can motivate you guys to do that. And listen, it doesn't have to be competitively, right? It can be with goals, your own personal goals. If you want to reach a certain weight, if you want to activate a certain move, if you want to be able to do a muscle up or get your first pull up or get stronger or fitter in whatever sport or in whatever way that may be, you got to put in the work every single day. You got to be consistent. That's probably the most important part in regards to your training or your workouts. And you have to enjoy the journey, right? It's a journey, right? So from nothing to something to everything, like Conor McGregor said. I'm just a kid from the Bronx, the smallest kid from the Bronx that wanted to do something about it. So I did, and I made it happen. So guys, enjoy the journey. Have fun with the journey. Keep going. Keep at it. I'll continue to motivate you guys. I'll continue to put that fire content as always. To all my subscribers, right now I'm at 2,500 subscribers. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. As you guys know, I get back to each and every one of you guys as best I can. I always reply. So continue to do that. We'll keep moving forward. We'll keep leveling up. This is a journey. I'm in this journey with you guys, and I'll continue to post and continue providing you guys with that fire content. So if you haven't done so already,